So here we are again, back on the bank. I've got a day and a night fishing an 18-acre syndicate. A good friend of mine has allowed me on for the day and for the night. It's cold northeasterly winds, not ideal conditions still. I think tonight's going to be the last frost of the year. Fingers crossed, because I am sick of the cold now. Been fishing all through the winter. But anyway, good times are ahead, which is really, really nice to think about. Soon it'll be shorts and t-shirts, a bit of suntan lotion. I don't drink, so it'll be nice ice cold water or a nice fizzy drink or something. Anyway, good times are coming. So I've got a couple of rods out, both on spinner rigs, spinner setups on both of them, 3 ounce distance leads, fishing at around about 17 wraps. I've found a couple of hard spots, a couple of hard areas, should I say, and I've spommed over kind of like, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 spoms over each rod, but the small spom, the little tiny spom. As I mentioned earlier, this time of year I only like to use the little tiny, the small spoms, especially on places that I don't know that well. So yeah, anyway, rods are out and hopefully we'll get a bite. And so basically I'm just feeding a mix of crumbed cell, and what I do is I put this through the blender at home. So I've got a nice fine kind of crumb with some little bits in there, little bits and pieces in there, little bits of cell in there, and that just keeps them in there for a longer period. Like once that gets to the bottom, they love to sort of like root through all the little bits and pieces, and it creates a nice little cloud as well as it goes down, but more so to keep them in the area. That's the big, you know, the big thing for me is just to try and keep them to hang around for a little bit more. So if you do get a bite, I ain't going to spook the whole lot off. They end up coming back and trying to clear up what's there. So that's a really good little tip, is to sort of like get your freezer bait, basically stick it through a blender, and so you've got some nice fine kind of bits and pieces there of cell. And then obviously I've just been using some 10mm cell straight out of the bag, yeah, just to create a small kind of area of feed. When you're reeling back with your spom, it's always a good idea to dip your tip in the water every now and again, just to keep some water on your braid. Saves on those wind knots when you're reeling in, or when you're casting out rather. Well, it was a beautiful, beautiful day. All day was lovely. A little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud. I sort of hedged my bets on the back of the wind. Hadn't seen anything all morning, but I sort of just went on the basis of the wind being warmer on the back of it, basically, and somewhere where the cart would be comfortable and where I'd be comfortable. You can see how gin clear the water is here. Mega clear, lovely quality water. But it doesn't do any good for the carp angling. You can tell they're not very active when it's like this. So it's just something to keep an eye on, which is what I spoke about in the past. But anyway, it's good to be out. Not had a bleep, not a liner, not nothing. I've been up and I've been looking around, been trying to see some shows. I've not seen a single fish all day. I can only imagine that the temperatures over the last couple of days have really knocked them back a little bit, but I don't normally seem to mind the cold weather here, so fingers crossed. If I don't have one during the night, I'll have one in the morning, hopefully. And but if I do, you'll definitely be seeing it. But I've got a little stove going on down there, just between me feet, just to take the chill off it a little bit, and then I'm all zipped up, ready for the harsh frost. And actually looking forward to getting in my bag, which is always the best bit in it. It's getting out of the bag if you have a fish. That's the worst bit. Anyway, with any luck, one of those will rattle off at some point. Well, I've woke up to quite a heavy frost. It's very cold. It's still -2. No bleeps or indications during the night, but just see a fish at first light. First fish I've seen since I've been here, since yesterday. And just to the left of my rods, actually. So not a million miles away, but I've had a recast because sometimes they can be on slightly different areas and just not that far away from where you're actually fishing. So I've moved the left rod, albeit I didn't really want to, because it's freezing and the butt of my rod's is all frozen up and icy and stuff. So but anyway, it's been done, so let's just hope we get a take. Well, once again, it was a fantastic morning. The sunrise came up, brought that much needed warmth to me and perhaps the fish. It's always a sight for sore eyes. I love waking up to these mornings. Every day is a special day when you're on the bank. And as you can see, things were really cold. Hadn't had a bleep during the night. But perseverance is the key, and we need to keep on going. Another quick little tip: if you're using the mainline smart liquids, just keep the bottles in a bag upside down or in your bucket upside down, and when you come to use them, you just literally squirt them out as normal. So during the course of the day, it's always a good idea to keep the bait going in. Although it's this time of year and temperatures are cold, carp are on the move. They're not quite as active as they will be in May, June, July, obviously when it gets really warm, but they are definitely on the move. So it's worth just keep topping the baited spot up every now and again. I like to put a little bit of bait in every couple of hours. I guess it depends where you're fishing. If you're fishing at venues with just big fish and you've got the traps set and you're waiting for the rods to go, then that's a different matter. But if you're fishing where you know that the stock density is really high, it can often pay by just keep trickling that little bit of bait in. It hasn't got to be a lot. Like I said, I'm using a little tiny spom, but every now and again I'll put a bit of crumbed bait out or a few spoms full of 10 millers on the cell and a little bit of smart liquid to go with it. Just keep freshening up that spot. A lot of the time they love to hear that dinner bell ring. So here's a little tip for you for when you're crimping your loops. Before you crimp your loop, take your tag end and blob that little section before you crimp the loop. Then pull that blob down to your crimp and adjust your loop to where you want it, and then crimp it. And once that's crimped, that can't pull back through there, and that's job done. And all you do is just do exactly the same thing with the other end, so they're both blobbed and both sections are not going anywhere. Right, so once you've got your boom section how you want it lengthwise, grab two pullers, one in either loop, as you can see, one in either loop, and give it just a little tug. You just want to pull it, because I'm sure lots of you make this mistake, but you just want to pull it enough so you see the material stretch. If that doesn't snap, if that's fine after that stretch, then that's where you want to get to. You don't want to be, anyone can pull it until it snaps. That doesn't mean that the rig or the material is weak. You just need to give that a tug so that you can see there's no slippage on any of the either of the crimps, and you've just put a little bit of stretch in that material. That's all that's going to happen when it's out in the drink and you're playing a fish on it. So long as you do that and the crimps don't move, everything should be fine. Well, despite all the vested effort and the hard work, looking for carp, listening for carp, constant baiting up, trickling the bait in, doing all the little things that I try to do to try and nick a bite when things are really tough, bites were not forthcoming. Tried and tried, but there you go. That is carp angling for you. But I was fortunate enough to go back and nick this lovely scaly mirror at about 35 wraps out, long way out. So that was all worth it in the end. And then I've been to some other places and getting takes like these. And catching some really nice fish along the way, including this common. So just out at a local day ticket, just to try and get some bites, filling the time. Really pleased with this one. Lovely old common, lovely little bark tail shape on him. Little tiny pecks. Fat mouth, fat lips, great condition. Really pleased with this. Just spinning around, show you the other side quickly. And put him back. There you go. Lovely. happy. Hope you get a few more of these to come. Be really pleased. So I'm gonna slip him back. And then whilst on my way back from a tuition in Lincolnshire, I thought I'd drop in on my syndicate and do a night. Although it was going to be -4 again, like I say, the fish are on the move. They're looking for a bit of feed, and subsequently this is what I had. Just over £25, or £25 on the nose actually. Got an absolute peach of a fish, and one that I'll certainly remember. My fingers were so cold holding this fish, I can't explain it. It was like someone had hit my fingers with a hammer, and honestly, I was in so much pain afterwards putting the fish back. And I fished through all winters and cold weather, and I have done for years. It hasn't bothered me. But for some reason, my fingers were killing me. Almost went to take some painkillers, and they slowly come back. But anyway, long story short, got to be in it to win it, and use every bit of time you've got to try and catch these lovely carp. So I'd just like to thank all the subscribers that have subscribed to my channel so far. I think we've just hit 1,000, which is a bit of a milestone. I never expected even like 200-300. Never expected any, to be fair, but more people like it than I ever expected, so that's great. Just appreciate every single one here, so that's really nice of you to subscribe. Thanks for hitting the like button and all the nice comments I've been getting. And if there's anything that you need to know, if there's anything I can help you in any way, just drop us a line, get in touch. I'll always try to reply. So thanks ever so much again, and here's to the next 1,000 subscribers.